And so I wanted to ask you, I read that you were inspired by Sarah Teasdale's poem, There Will Come Soft Rains, just when choosing the name of the title for this album. I'm curious, given that I did some digging, given that it is an anti-war poem, I'm so curious, what led you to say, this relates to me not so much so from a form of like social justice, but also it relates to me from the mental and emotional war that I kind of went through when crafting this album?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. You know, I this album, I self-produced this album, and I guess that decision comes a little bit from a period of my life where I was a little bit lost. After Marchita, I started to tour a lot. Even before Marchita, I was already touring. I mean, I've been on tour since I was 18. So I guess I was a little bit, tired and worn out. And during the process of this album, my best friend and his little brother, they were murdered in Mexico. So I was kind of not finding the light, really. I was in a really dark place, and this idea of really concrete hope of like, I cannot, como que no te puedo asegurar, I cannot assure that this is going to be better, but at least it's going to be, soft. Maybe there will be soft rains coming. That's the only thing I don't know, I started to believe in this really realistic way of hope. And this poem helped me so much during this process, because I was, as you were saying, I was trying to make peace in my own head, and actually, I tried to record this album with, many producers, and I couldn't, I guess, because I was not finding the right sound, because this is so personal. This album is so personal that it was really hard to me to sometimes even, getting to understand like the expectations of others. I started to feel a little bit like the agenda of the producers, like this album needs to be different, needs to be, kind of following the pressure and the expectations of the industry out there. And I was like, no, this needs to be for myself, and this needs to actually, help me to heal. So I decided to produce it by myself, basically because I wanted to understand what was going on with me and what were my sounds. So this process has been totally like a, really intense 3 years of my life of like learning how to do it, learning how to be me, learning where's my intuition, learning to, follow my intuition, learning to be, soft with me, and just, this whole process was like a huge mirror, and I get to definitely understand myself better.
And having that understanding, how do you feel that is going to even help you moving forward with future projects, or just even your future approach to music?
I think, for example, I really get to try all my ideas, which it's funny, but it was kind of new, because I was used to receive a bunch of no's earlier in my life, like, we should do this, and I don't know, I was younger and always worked with older, men, and sometimes, not all of my ideas, but sometimes something that I really believed in, they would be like, no, that we cannot do that. and after this experience of actually be free and actually try, all the things I wanted to, I'm like, oh, this is how it should be always, you know. Especially, you know, sometimes being a woman, being young in this industry, takes a lot of effort to believe in yourself and to say, like, you know what, I really want to do this. This is what we're gonna do because I believe in this. Now I really trust in my gut, in my instinct, and I know that it's something that I need to. It's like a daily. It's like having a relationship, no? It's like a kind of a daily thing you need to do, like hearing your instinct, knowing where is it. It's something you need to work, and definitely after this experience, I've been really trying to be in contact with, my instinct.
No, I love that, because I feel like it's hard when you go through something like heartbreak, like a big loss. You know, it's hard to then trust your instincts and trust yourself. And so to see that on the other side of that, not only have you developed that personally, but also creatively, is really beautiful. And I'm like, oh, I can only imagine you going into those meetings now for next albums, and you're like, this is what we're gonna do. This is the vision. You're on track or you're not, because look at the success of my self-produced album already here. And I want to go back to the poem just a little bit. If you're open to talking about it, what was that moment where you came across it, where you said, oh, this is perfectly describing how I'm feeling in this moment and how I'm hoping to feel on the other side of this loss and this heartbreak?
First, I did a song called No te vayas sin saber, and one of the verses says, Vendrán Suaves Lluvias, no? There will come some rains. And it was like, because I read this poem like almost 15 years ago. I was really young, because it's a poem. This poem is part of Crónicas Marcianas, a Brightbury's book, and I kind of, that phrase, Vendrán Suaves Lluvias, stayed with me for years. And when I was writing No te vayas sin saber, that image of the soft rains came up as if it was an image that was waiting for me, no? And I guess then during the process of the album, I was like, oh, that needs to be the title of the album, because I went back to the whole poem, and it's something about hope. It's something about, actually believe that this is going to be better, but also the realistic idea of, even if it's not better in the way we think it's going to be, time is going to heal whatever, and that's truth. That's one of the only truths I can speak. So it was like this moment of also, recording this album was really hard. I obviously enjoyed it so much, and I'm proud that I get to self-produce, but it's really hard to self-produce, and it was really hard to make the decision. There's also a bunch of suffering in the process of this album. So during all those hard times, I was like, there will come some rains, and I will be reminding, remembering this poem in the studio, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine. Even if it's not what you think it's gonna be fine. So you need to trust the process. Yeah.
I love that it was such a healing mantra for you going through that. And then I can also imagine for the audience that then listens to this, they're gonna have that same effect that Sarah's poem had on you. It's like your music is gonna have that effect on them.
Oh, well, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. And you start the album with Cada día te extraño más. What was it about that song that led you to say, this is the starting point for the journey that the audience is about to go on? This is where I want to begin.
I think I wanted to begin this journey with joy. It's crazy because it's a really sad song and it's a little bit funny, you know, Cada día te extraño menos, it's a little bit sarcastic.
Oh yes, menos, thank you.
No, it's fine. It's a little bit sarcastic, no? It's like, cada día te extraño menos, pero siempre por un rato, no? It's like, every day I miss you less, but every day I miss you, no? So it's a little bit sad, but sarcastic, but fun. And, you know, the recording of that song was basically, you know, me playing the guitar and singing, and then my friend David Aguilar, which is also like my favorite singer-songwriter from Mexico, kind of my teacher or something. It's us playing together, you know, one mic between us. And yeah, I think I was trying to emulate my idea of joy, which is basically play songs with my friends. And I really wanted to start the journey with that energy of, like, you know, intimacy and like friendship and like, yeah, like this in my mind is like the perfect safe space, no? It's like one of the friends you love the most playing your song with you. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful image.
I love that. Doesn't get better. I was like, not me changing the meaning of the song.
No.
Instead of menos. I was like, maybe my mindset was in a different place. I'll revisit some things and I re-listen to it again. I'll be like, was I trying to say something else?
Your subconscious.
Right? I was like, oh, no, we won't get personal there on my end. But, you know, I also want to take it back to winning Best New Artist at the Latin Grammys. We were there for that. We got to see you win.
Thank you.
And, you know, I'm so curious, coming out of that, I know we were talking about like what the industry expects of you. Did that almost increase after having this win, where now maybe your producers, the executives behind you felt the pressure of, okay, we have to build on this momentum? Or did that kind of start the pathway to you having a little bit more creative and artistic freedom on the direction you wanted for your career?
I didn't feel pressure after the Grammy at all. It was more what you were saying. I was like, oh, so maybe I'm actually going in the right direction. You know, Marchita is such a super personal album, super intimate, super dark. It's a really specific part of me. And when I won Best New Artist, I was like, wow, like I'm actually, you know, doing things right if people is like listening to me, and the Academy, and especially the colleagues that are the one that I really kind of respect their opinion, are like voting for me. I was like, okay, I'm going in the right path. But I think, you know, speaking about pressure, sometimes the second album, it's famous. Like the second book or the second movie, it's famous because there is a bunch of expectations, especially if the first album le va bien, if the first album goes well, the second album, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do next? And also, I feel like we live in this, you know, period of time where everything is so fast, everything is moving so fast. People is releasing music every Friday. Like all the labels and all the platforms are like, okay, where's your new music? Every Friday it's new music. Like, where's your, or even, you know, the TikTok world or the Instagram, whatever, it's all 15 seconds. Like now people is gonna listen to your music for 15 seconds, no? Which is crazy. So everything is going so fast, and I'm not interested in work like that. I really need to take my time because I want to do things that I believe in. Because, you know, releasing an album is to defend the album for the rest of your life. So I really want to be proud of what I do, and I want to be mindful of, you know, if I'm going to release this album, if I'm going to make vinyls that are going to be, you know, a piece of plastic, I don't want them to be just trash. I want them to be, you know, as good as they can, and that takes time, and that made me feel very insecure, because I took my time and I'm proud of it, and I defended. I'm always gonna defend that artists, we should take whatever time we need. But I was very, very, very pressured on, especially time-wise, like when's the new music? When are you releasing new music? Only also like the fans know on social media, like, what are you doing? Where's the new music? I would be like posting a photo of me, like just, you know, having a meal with my parents, and they would be like, yeah, but where's the music? And I was like, damn, I'm sorry, I'm running. And yeah, sometimes I understand that I kind of, after this, I learned how to like shut those voices off, because they are not useful at all in any creative process.
Because then you're like trying to put something together, and it's like you feel all this weight on it, and you're not going to create something timeless and beautiful.
Yeah, no, and you know, this is not, I mean, we're doing music. It's supposed to be, you know, fun or profound, and if you're in a hurry, you're gonna miss, you know, so many things about what music is about. At least for me, I don't want. I'm sure everyone has a different, you know, relationship with songs and music.
No, but I feel like you're saying that in such a perfect setting. I mean, we're surrounded by so many timeless records.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like, you know, that all of these artists took their time and, you know, went against the status quo to create these literal works of art that are on display. And you're going on a world tour with this album, but given that it's so personal, I'm so curious, what are you doing to kind of protect that emotional and mental health whenever you have to step back into the world of some of these songs?
I mean, first of all, I do therapy weekly. No, but, you know, I think actually sharing this music, it's very healing. I think my concerts are really healing for obviously the people in the audience, but also for me. Like the fact that I can sing all these songs about, you know, all this pain and grieving, and also kind of celebrating also these moments of like anger and like realization of like, you know what, I'm gonna be responsible of my life, you know, and I'm gonna step away. There are some moments of the album that are actually moments that saved my life in a way. So the fact that I can share that with an audience, that it's open and loving and caring, and I can, you know, we all are creating this like safe space for like be vulnerable and actually, you know, cover all of our wounds with beauty and hope and like togetherness. That's so healing. So, you know, especially because tours can be really hard on mental health. In my case, because I miss my home, or I'm very tired, or sometimes my memory starts to kind of be really, you know, confusing because I'm in a city and then in another country and then in another continent and everything in a week or 2 weeks. But emotionally, and specifically talking about the songs, I don't like, it actually heals me, I must say, yeah.
In the press release for this album, it said that you're able to face reality with grace and hope now after dealing with the heavy realities that you experienced. Where was that moment for you where you found that grace and hope? Was it while working on a specific song on the album? Was it once you saw the completed work? Like, when did you find that moment?
I think during the process, you know, there were so many moments where I thought like, como que iba a soltar la toalla. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. And there would be like eventually all of these moments of like, I guess it's the love that I feel for music, and sometimes I feel like music loves us back. That I will be like, oh no, like suddenly waking up, you know, like, oh no, this is beautiful. I'm alive. I'm able to create music. I'm able to write songs. Like, there's people who, you know, like my best friend, I could be dead any day, you know? I'm really conscious about the beauty of, you know, waking up every morning and to believe that we're going to wake up tomorrow, even if we don't have any type of certeza, no? And that's beautiful. There's so much hope only in, like, you know, waking up every day. And I started to be really aware of the amount of, like, hope and love for life that just life itself asks. And yeah, during the process of the album, I had so many of these moments of clarity that at the end of the album, I kind of learned so much, specifically about how I want to live life and how I want to, you know, dedicate my energy and my experience, like that. Yeah, I guess now I'm you know, being totally aware of the complete miracle is, you know, to be alive.
No, thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. And I actually have a quick follow-up to that. How much, if you're open to sharing, how much of your best friend is found in this album, and how much did you feel them kind of also guiding you through this process?
I mean, he's really present in this album sonically. He was a guitar player, electric guitar, and before this album, I was like, I would never have an electric guitar in my albums, never. And nothing against electric guitars, but I was like, it's not my thing, I don't know how to play it, I don't know. And it's funny because I didn't thought of it. Now in retrospective, I'm like, oh, that's because I was missing Jorge so much that most of the songs has electric guitars. And you know, there are so many songs based on, like, the music we would listening together when he was alive. And also there are a couple of songs dedicated to him and his brother, and dedicated to death and life. And his memory also, it's guiding me all of the time. It's like during this process of, you know, feeling lost and then finding myself, he was definitely kind of guiding me all the time. And even this moments of clarity of, like, you know, I'm alive, so I really want to be, no quiero estar despierta, like I want to be open and awake, and like I really want to this miraculous experience of being here with you in LA. I want to be, like, in the moment, present. And I feel like my practice now of, you know, gratitude and presence, it's thanks to Jorge, no? And what his loss is teaching me every day.